Thank you for tuning in to the 2020 Club Meeting and Officer Role Training. During this video, we will cover what a vibrant 4-H Club meeting should look like, resources on how to plan that meeting, how parliamentary procedure works, and officer roles. Does your club look like a vibrant club? Let's find out. 4-H clubs are all about youth having fun, making friends, discovering one's voice, and learning to work with others. 4-H members will come to club meetings when their 4 needs are being met. Those 4 needs are belonging, having fun with friends and making new friends, mastery, learning new things and improving skills, independence, making decisions as a group and having a voice in club activities, and the 4th, generosity, providing a service to others. When we use those 4 needs to plan our meetings should look something like this: having a short welcome activity, which might include a game or an activity you can do as you come to the table to sit down. An educational piece that might include a speaker or 4-H members giving an educational presentation. A time for recreation, a time to socialize, play games, and have fun. And then the business meeting, which should be the shortest part of the meeting. It should only last about 20 minutes, and if using the proper planning agenda, it should move fairly quickly. When we have our 4 basic needs, and we combine those with our 8 essential elements, we see vibrant 4-H clubs. Those essential elements include a caring adult, having a safe environment, an inclusive setting where everyone feels like they're included, and an opportunity for mastery, service, self-determination, planning for the future, and engaged learning. Here are some best practices for creating a vibrant 4-H club. As leaders and parents begin to develop a yearly club program, be sure to include members in your planning committee. Use club newsletters, emails, or other communication effectively so that all families in the club are receiving the same information in a timely manner. Develop systems like using greeters to ensure all feel welcome. This would be most important as we begin a new 4-H year and welcome new 4-H families to our club. Make sure the meetings are youth-led. Volunteers are the coaches, the guides on the side. They have a time to give announcements at the end of each business meeting. Utilize youth-led committees to empower members in club operations. So let the members take the leadership in developing those plans. Make opportunities for older members to mentor and provide leadership. Have them partner with a younger member or a new member to help show them the way. Some examples of things to do during each of those pieces of a vibrant club meeting include the welcome. Engage members in fun activities as soon as they arrive. Help members to know each other and give ideas for welcome activities. Those include scavenger hunts, name games, introduction games, making thank you cards, guessing games, creating something together, or some get-to-know-you games. We have resources at the Extension office for a lot of those games. The educational piece should include learning at every club meeting. Encourage members to serve as educators. Ideas for educational activities include educational presentations, working exhibits, share the fun performances, project workshops, guest speakers, doing some service learning, or taking tours and field trips. The recreational piece of the meeting: have fun and create excitement. Recreational activities are a great way to encourage members to work together, be active, and try new things. Encourage members to lead or plan recreational activities. Many clubs will utilize a recreational leader to plan these games out for the entire 4-H year. Those might include games, songs, relays, puzzles, parties or social activities, or outdoor activities. The business portion of the meeting. Learning the business meeting procedures is an important skill. Many clubs use parliamentary procedure. We're going to touch base on this a little later in the training. While it's not required, it is important that youth have and share a voice in the club decision-making process, in whatever form that takes. Meetings should include a call to order, a roll call, the flag pledge, reading of the minutes, decision-making, officer and committee reports, and announcements. Here is an example of the 4-H Club meeting outline template. This can be utilized by the leaders and officers as they plan each month's meeting. They can use this to delegate who is responsible for each one of the pieces of the meeting each month. This template is available by contacting the Extension office or on our website. Parliamentary procedure is commonly used during business meetings. It helps the club meeting run smoothly while allowing everyone to have a voice while coming to a group decision. Steps for making a decision. The first step is making a motion. A motion is a request that something be done or that something is the opinion or wish of the group. Only one motion should be placed before the group at a time. Number 2, someone from the group must second the motion, which means they must agree to that motion so that it can be discussed. Step 3 is the discussion. There is a motion on the floor and it is discussed by all members, addressing the pros and the cons. Step 4, restate the motion. The president restates the motion before the group votes. And the 5th step is the vote. The group may vote by voice, by hands, or by ballot. Some things to remember while using parliamentary procedure. All members must be recognized by the president before speaking. This means you should raise your hand and wait to be appointed by the president to speak. Only one speaker at a time. You must speak only on the subject under discussion. You make decisions by motion. So a member would state, "I move to," and whatever the wish is. A motion requires a second. So another member must state, "I second the motion." Discuss that motion until everyone has a chance to speak, and then vote. We are now going to take a look at officer duties and what each one of those includes. We'll start with the president. The president prepares the club meeting agenda with other officers and leaders. They preside over all the club meetings, use parliamentary procedure to conduct those business meetings. They understand the responsibilities of all of the other club officers. They show a real interest in the club and help carry out the club's decisions. Plan ways to get every member to participate in meetings and delegate responsibility. Work with club leaders to establish a system for notifying club members of meetings and activities, and calls the vice president to preside at a meeting if unable to attend. A resource, if you've been elected president, is So You Are the Club President. It is available at the Extension office or on the Extension store. One of the most important pieces of being president is creating the club agenda. By doing this and having it printed and available for club members to have during the meeting, it helps make sure that the club meeting happens in the correct order and all of the pieces are there. It also helps club members know when a motion needs to be made and a vote taken. So going through those pieces of the business meeting, the president would first call the meeting to order. Then appoint somebody to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Ask the secretary to do roll call. Then ask the secretary to read the minutes of the previous meeting. Call for the treasurer's report. Discuss any old business. Then move on to discussion of new business. Finally, at the end, you can ask if there's any leaders that have announcements to make, and then adjourn the meeting, appoint someone to say the 4-H pledge, and go on with the other pieces of the Vibrant Club meeting. We also have small cards the size of a postcard that have the parts of a meeting listed. Those are available upon request at the Extension office. They are handy to have available next to the club officers to help make sure they're moving in the correct order for each meeting. Next, we'll take a look at the Vice President's duties. The Vice President should consult with the President on plans or special work needing to be done. The Vice President presides at club meetings when the President is absent. They represent their group at other events in the absence of the President. They work with leaders and other officers on committees and other group activities. They could serve as a chair of the program committee who plans the annual club calendar. They check in with 4-Hers scheduled on the calendar to see if they are ready to give their presentation or if they need assistance. They introduce the program participants, or who's ever giving that presentation each month, and they thank those who gave the program demonstration or served as a host. We also have a resource guide available at the Extension office or on the Extension store called So You're the Club Vice President. It includes a list of all of these duties and some examples on how to carry out your role. The Secretary keeps accurate records of the business meetings. They read the club minutes at each meeting, record the club's attendance at each meeting, and writes thank you notes to speakers and sponsors. We have a guide called So You Are the Club Secretary that helps give examples of how to carry out your role. It is available at the Extension office or on the Extension store. The Secretary should be keeping a Secretary's book. Books are available at the Extension office, or you can utilize a 3-ring binder with the templates we are about to show you. The first piece in that book should include the member record. This is where the Secretary will keep attendance. They can use a spreadsheet, as we have here, keeping track of each member's meeting or activities they attend. When taking roll call, instead of just having members answer with here, it's fun to ask a question and have the member answer roll with their answer to the question. So examples like name your favorite pet or your favorite season, the title of your favorite song, or your favorite sport. Another template that we have for secretaries to help them complete their role at the club meetings is the club minutes worksheet. This is laid out so that secretaries basically fill in the blanks while taking notes at a club meeting. It really helps keep track of each discussion item, who makes the motion, and what the vote was. We have these templates available at the Extension office or on our website. Once the meeting is complete, the secretary then takes their notes and types them into minutes. So here we have a sample of what club meeting minutes should look like. The secretary will want to complete these minutes to put in their club secretary book so that they can read these at the next club meeting. The next officer role we'll look at is the treasurer. The treasurer keeps accurate account of all the club's money received and spent by the club, including receipts and transactions. They give a financial report at each club meeting, assist in preparing a budget for the 4-H year, and write deposit slips and vouchers to make withdrawals or pay bills. We have a guide, So You're the Club Treasurer, available at the Extension office or on the Extension store. When club accounts were transferred from banks to the Extension office, Each club received a black 3-ring binder that included templates of all the forms that the treasurer will need to carry out their job. These forms include the 4-H club account deposit slip. This form is what you will complete when you have money to deposit into your club account. It should be signed by the club member and again by us at the extension office when you bring that money to us. A copy of that deposit slip should be kept in your binder. The next form is the 4-H club voucher request. This form is used when you need to withdraw money from your account or pay a bill. You would include who needs to be paid, the address to where it should be sent, and then a description of what we're paying for. It should be signed by the club treasurer along with the club leader. Sometimes you request money ahead of an event to have some startup cash. Once the event has taken place, you then can turn in the excess, or if it was used to pay for, say, a pizza party, then you would need to bring the receipt from that pizza party back along with any excess change left. And that would be put back into your club account. A copy of that voucher request form should be kept on file in your 3-ring binder. The third template is the treasurer's report. This is where you will keep track of transactions, both expenses and income, each month for your club. This is then read during the club business meeting. Some best practices for the club treasurer include all funds received should be counted by 2 or more parties. An example would be the club leader and the treasurer. This is to verify and confirm that both parties agree on the amount of funds that will be deposited into the club account. Deposits should not be mailed, but should be dropped off at the extension office during office hours. If you are unable to make it during office hours, call the office to set up a drop-off time. When the money is brought into the extension office, it will again be counted by 2 parties, an extension staff person as well as the person making the deposit, so that the amount is agreed upon. Once verified, the deposit slip will then be signed, a copy will be given to the club, and a copy will also be kept here and put in the drop box for your club account. When receiving checks, they should be made payable to the Plymouth County Extension Office. They will still go into your club account here. In the event that they do get made out to your club, the club treasurer should sign on the back for deposit only. You should retain a copy of all receipts in your club treasurer record. That way, every transaction can be traced back to a receipt. In the event that a purchase was made by someone from your club and needs to be reimbursed, we simply need a copy of those receipts. They can be emailed, dropped off, or even take a picture on your phone and send them to us. We ask that you try to keep it to the same 2 or 3 people purchasing items, because otherwise we end up making a lot of extra vendors within our bookkeeping system. If you know ahead of time that funds will be needed, you can turn a voucher in. Checks get signed twice a month, and once purchases have been made, just send your receipt in so that we can match that up with your voucher. Each fall, club leaders receive a list of the dates that checks will be written each month and when you must have your voucher turned in by. If there are supplies that can be ordered from, say, Walmart, the 4-H Mall, Oriental Trading, just send us that list and we can make the purchase happen for you and have it shipped directly to you. Each month, a bank statement will be emailed out to the 4-H club leader and treasurer on or around the first of the next closest business day of the month. We also have a drop box that the club treasurer and the leaders have access to, so you can pull that report and copies of the deposit slips or vouchers. Clubs should not be keeping any petty cash on hand. Here is an example of what your monthly bank statement will look like.
The historian. The historian takes photos of all the club meetings and activities. They put together the club scrapbook. This should be put together month by month, showcasing what the club has done that month, including who's giving the presentation and what's it about. They also will collect newspaper clippings from the reporter to include in the scrapbook. This may be done by a couple of members throughout the year. There is a publication available on the Extension store called So You're Historian of Your Group. This will provide extra tips for you to complete your role as a historian. Another officer role is the reporter. The reporter is responsible for writing articles about club meetings or activities and then submitting these articles to the local newspapers. The reporter should be sure to collect these news stories to give to the historian to showcase in the club scrapbook. There is a publication called So You're News Reporter of Your Group available on the Extension store. This publication will help you learn how to write a good news article. The last club officer role we'll talk about is the recreation leader. This role also may be done by more than one member. This role is very important in making that vibrant 4-H club happen. You are going to be responsible for all the fun things the group is going to do. So the recreation leader will conduct a recreation activity or game at each meeting. It's your role to be enthusiastic. That will help the rest of the club also be enthusiastic. You will lead or assist in get acquainted activities and or welcome activities at the beginning of the meeting, and you'll help plan parties or events with others in your group. There is a publication called So You're the Club Recreation Leader, which will give you some guidelines on how to complete your role as the recreation leader. We have several resources available at the Extension office for our recreation leaders. Here are two of our favorites. The first one is the Virtual Icebreaker Activity Guidebook. Leaders will be receiving a copy of this. This will be a great way to break up the meeting into some fun activities if you have to move to a virtual club meeting. The second resource is the book called Find Something to Do by Jim Kane. These activities all only take a few minutes and require little to no props, so there's not a lot of things you have to gather up ahead of time in order to complete these activities. This book is available to check out, or we can get you copies of the activities that are inside of it. Thank you for watching this video on officer roles and parliamentary procedure. We hope that each club will be able to add some of these elements into your club meetings to make them all vibrant club meetings. As always, please contact the Extension and Outreach office if you have any questions.